We will now begin the City of Boynton Beach City Commissioners meeting today, Tuesday, February 5th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. Would everyone please rise for the invocation led by Reverend Amali Ash of the First Presbyterian Church.
Wonderful God, we thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. For each mind and heart that feels the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish. We have an idea, we have visions, we have daily instructions, we have talents, abilities, and we have time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning. Every project, every season, every life, nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are for good. Bless this meeting today and all those that are present, as well as the lives of those that we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count so that we can work together in peace. We ask this in your name, and we hope in your name. Amen.
Amen. Vice Mayor, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Stephen Grant.
Present.
Vice Mayor Christina Romulus.
Present.
Commissioner Justin Cass. Commissioner Mac McCray.
Present.
Commissioner Amy Kelly.
Here.
All present, Mayor.
All right. Moving on to agenda approval. I've been requested to move up item 3H to the beginning. Is there any? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to add on for new business ordinance for discussion about 18-wheelers and 2 or more axles parking in residential areas. We've been inundated with those in the city of Boynton, and I'd like to have it placed on the night for discussion so that staff can move forward.
Are you saying on future agenda or new business?
New business, sir.
All right. Is that okay with the commission to discuss an item that we have not previously put on future agenda?
Yeah.
All right. I got a consensus to moving forward.
Thank you.
And we'll put that under new business D.
Thank you.
Is there any other items to be corrected, amended, or deleted from the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to informational items by members of the City Commission. Commissioner Katz, would you like to begin?
Nothing to disclose at this time.
Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. No disclosure, but I would like to say information items. I got a chance today to tour Hunters Run, their new clubhouse facility, along with some of their staff and the staff of the commission and also some of our higher ups. I'm just saying it was a fantastic facility. Food was excellent. Also in regards to the kinetic arts, I was down there Saturday. Didn't stay for about 30 minutes, but I got a chance to walk around and to make sure I paid attention to what was going on. One that struck my attention, and I don't know if Debbie Cole DeBay is here, but it was the one about the jellyfish. I thought that was fantastic. I could not move away from it, and I tried to touch and play with it just like when I was scuba diving, but they're real. Okay, the next thing is that I got a chance to meet with staff. Andrew Mack, if he's here, and along with the staff of the Public Works here in our city. The reason for the meeting that I met with them, they gave me a chance to think outside of the box in regards to what was going on at Rolling Greens, and they wanted to move their parks equipment over there. Having gone over there and made a discussion with them, it is a fantastic idea. I'm glad they're going to clean up that facility. I'm glad they're going to at least invest money over there, and by them being over there, we'll give them a chance to keep that place clean. So I'd like to say to Lori and also to Mr. Mack and his staff, you have my blessings. Thank you for making me think outside of the box. Let me know that I am human. Things do happen and they do change. Thank you. That concludes me, sir.
All right. Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. I know that I will not have a chance to see all of you before the 14th, so happy Valentine's Day in advance. I'm sorry I cannot send all of you candy grams. I also wanted to thank Reverend Ash for giving us the invocation. She is from First Presbyterian Church, one of the churches in my district. I also want to just send a quick shout out to one of her parishioners, Ethel McGee, who was featured in our calendar for the month of September. She's doing some fantastic work with us, both at the church but also at Bethesda Memorial Hospital. So if you ever go to Bethesda to visit and you see her in the front desk signing you in, she does that just strictly as on a volunteer basis. So we want to thank all of our people who are superheroes here in our city, and we're honoring them. So that is something I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Other than that, I have nothing else to disclose. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Kelly?
Informational, just nothing informational, but I attended the Rock the Plaza. Great job, CRA. It was a great event. The weather was cool, but it was nice. I attended the community leaders reception at the fairgrounds for newly elected officials, and also this weekend attended the kinetic art exhibit. Great job to all of the city employees who put that together. It was a fantastic event. The rain held off. The weather was perfect. So good job.
All right. On January 23rd, I had a meeting with the Palm Beach County League of Cities over in Wellington, and also spoke with the Costa Costa Homeowners Association. On the 24th, I attended the Palm Tran Service Board and met with the principal over in Cross Point regarding the after-school program, also known as the intramurals. On the 25th, I attended Rock the Plaza over at 1 Boynton. It was an amazing time for everybody that came. The band was excellent. And look forward to our next Rock the Plaza on February 9th from 2 to 6 over at Ocean Palm Plaza. On the 26th, I attended 2 grand openings, one for Hurricane Dockside Grill over in Renaissance Commons and Rich Men Looks. It's a nice clothing store over in Casa Costa. On the 28th, I woke up early to attend the Palm Beach County Housing Authority. Many of you may not know that the Housing Authority has 77 properties within the city limits. And one of the things that I spoke with them so that is on their agenda to make sure that something happens with the vacant land in Cherry Hill and in District 2. And that evening, I attended the Heart of Boynton Beach Association. On the 29th, I attended an organization over at St. John's called Peace, where they asked me to put on the future agenda a community ID program so that we as a commission are able to talk about that. It's basically a library card with your picture and address on it. It is not recognized as a legal identification. However, it is identification that certain businesses, municipalities, and other organizations can use so that everybody in our community, whether they are snowbirds or residents, documented or undocumented immigrants, have the access to be recognized as a community member that evening. And so I guess, can I get consensus to put that on future agenda?
Mayor, let me
Yep.
just go ahead and speak. I think they might be doing a presentation tonight, but I don't think that's something that really need to be brought forward at this time. With the election coming up, I'm just saying after the election, I'm just saying we could discuss it then, but you can place it on future agenda items for after the election. I'm in favor of that.
I'd like to, as soon as possible for me personally. Yes, Commissioner Katz.
I was going to request similarly. I'd spoken to staff and asked for a lot of backup information on it because it's a new concept to me, so I'm not keen to force it on anytime soon because I want to make sure I fully understand the implications and the background for it.
Okay. I've been talking about this with West Palm Beach for a while, and they finally brought it back down to Boynton Beach. But if you want to put it on for the March 19th, I guess City Commission meeting, is that okay, Commissioner
That would be
Craig?
fine with me. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. On the 30th, I attended literacy in our community over at Freedom Shores and had an association meeting with the Village Royale on the Green. On the 2nd, I was over at the Boynton Beach Community High School for the 11th Annual Youth Summit to end dating violence. A lot of our teenagers who are dating for the first time don't necessarily know what is going on, and luckily for us, the Youth Services Commission over at Palm Beach County hosted an event with a lot of different nonprofits to make sure that our youth are aware of what is right and what is wrong when dating. I also was able to make it to the Kinetic Art Fair. Debbie did a great job. I'm so pleased that it's the International Kinetic Art Fair to really put Boynton Beach on the map as an art destination worldwide. On the 3rd, I attended the Four Chaplains meeting over at Ascension Church. It's always a great event. It was a 76th annual event regarding the four chaplains who gave the life preservers off their own back and handed out more life preservers so that the servicemen on that ship were able to survive. On the 5th, I attended today the Race to Equity Summit that is being held over at the Convention Center. I also attended a Hunter's Run, and I had a meeting with Ed Boylan over at the Boynton Beach Mall. The other item that I'd like to put on for a future agenda, I don't think it's necessary we put it on for next meeting, is that the Freemasons have requested to put a keystone at our new City Hall. Most people don't know that the City of Boynton Beach was incorporated at the Freemasons Lodge in 1920 in June, so we're going up on our centennial. And every year the Freemasons give an award to our police officer, detective of the year, and our firefighter and paramedic of the year. And I think it's we do a lot of great work with a lot of nonprofits here, and I think that's something that I'd like to have a discussion about, if that's okay with the board, to put on the March 19th agenda.
I'm in favor of placing on this, sir, for discussion because we need to make sure we are in the timeline. I'm just saying for the new City Hall, I'm just saying for them to place something. I'm quite sure that we have to have it almost built to have something in place, so that they could place that cornerstone. That's what we're talking about.
Correct.
We're talking about a cornerstone.
Yes.
We need to stay with our timelines. I'm in favor of discussing it, but I don't think we might not be able to move forward until staff tell us, how close they are on completion.
Okay.
But they can be put in the agenda so that that they can do it. I'll be in favor of it.
All right, excellent. And that is it for my information. Is there any other information before we move on? Yes.
Yes, I wanted to mention one more thing. Something I got to do that I thought was just really exciting. I got to visit Forest Park Elementary School and celebrate their 100th day of learning with them. And this was an opportunity to thank the faculty and staff there and also just celebrate with the kids and really just encourage them on going so far 100 days within the education process and finishing it out hopefully positively for the rest of the year. I'll be celebrating with Boynton Beach High School on February 8th.
Seeing no more announcements or informational items, moving on to announcements. Our first one is item 3I, introduction of the Boynton Beach superheroes featured in the 2019 calendar by Eleanor Crisell, Public Communications and Marketing Director, and Laura Landsberg, Marketing Manager.
Hi. Hello. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'd like to invite all the 12 superheroes who are featured in the 2019 calendar to come up here to be recognized, please. Wow. All 12 of you came. Okay. Again, good evening. I'm Laura Landsberg, Marketing Manager for the city, and this is Eleanor Crisell, Director of Marketing and Communications. In October, we invited the community to nominate individuals that have volunteered.
Excuse me. There should be no talking except for Laura. If you're speaking in the back of the office, back of the room, please step outside.
Okay. In October, we invited the community to nominate individuals that have volunteered and contributed to making Boynton Beach better. Over 40 entries were received. 12 were selected to be featured in the 2019 City of Boynton Beach calendar. Tonight, we have the pleasure of introducing these 12 superheroes. January features Jean Berman, who was nominated by Reva Berman. Jean mentors others at a weekly wood carving class at the Senior Center. February features Clovis Moody, Clovis was nominated by Ricky Petty. Clovis helps residents navigate the voting process. Maybe if we could hold applause to the end, that would be great. March features Johanna Zell, who was nominated by Debbie Coles-Dobey. Johanna built a garden at Poinciana Elementary School. April features Margaret Newton, who is nominated by Amanda Kopaz. Margaret teaches seniors how to connect with tablets through the Healthier Boynton Beach organization. May features Martha Smith, who is nominated by Courtney Roper. Martha organized a concert at her home to help fundraise for a safety patrol trip to Washington, D.C. at Cross Point Elementary. June features Michael Wilson, who is nominated by Michael Landris. Michael is a brand ambassador for the city through his Facebook group, Boynton Beach Raw. July features Maria Cardoso, who is nominated by Julian Blankenship. Maria teaches English as a second language at the Women's Circle Education Center. August features Michael Evans, who is nominated by Cassandra Corbin-Thaddeus. Michael guides and supports middle school boys through the Connect to Greatness organization. September features Ethel McGee, who is nominated by Reverend Ash. Ethel provides and passes out magazines to patients at Bethesda Hospital. October features Marie Ketley Seid, who is nominated by Vice Mayor Christina Romulus. Marie, founder and president of the Marie Louise Foundation, has helped many women navigate the cancer process. November features Terry Hinman, who is nominated by Larry Blocker. Terry honors and supports veterans and their families through the Veterans of Foreign War Post 5335. December features Liliana Dvorsny, nominated by Stephanie Slater. Liliana supports the Boynton Beach Police Department's annual toy drive. Together, these 12 superheroes have volunteered thousands of hours to local organizations and have made a positive impact on our city. We commend them for their commitment to Boynton Beach.
Excuse me, before they leave, I'd like to shake each and every one of their hands. Thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet. That's great. Of course.
Good to see you. Superheroes, thank you so much for coming, and please help yourself to calendars as
Good, thank you for coming, you guys. You are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you for coming and thank you for nominating. Nice to meet you. Thank you. I'm sure we'll see you
All right. I believe we have some open seats for people to sit down, and I'd like to remind everyone to please silence your phone or turn it off as we continue the meeting. Our announcement 3A is city offices will be closed on Monday, February 18th in observance of President's Day. On February 7, 2019 at 6 p.m., Southeast First Street Sidewalk Improvements Public Information Meeting in the Boynton Beach Utilities Department located at 124 East Woolbright Road. Do we have anybody from the Utilities Department to explain a little bit more what's going on?
Gary Dunn.
Our engineer.
Hello, Commissioner. I'm Gary Dunmeyer, City Engineer. On Thursday, what we're trying to do is we have a project that's on Southeast First. We want to put a sidewalk on either side of the road. The reason we're doing this project is there's a grant opportunity, and this was one of the projects within the city that fit that grant opportunity. So we're wanting to push this forward, but we don't want to put it in without public support. So we're hoping that all residents that are in the area from Woolbright to Boynton Beach Boulevard between Seacrest and the railroad will come to the Utilities Building on 124 Woolbright between 6 and 7 on Thursday to tell us what their thoughts, concerns, and what they'd like to see. Because we don't want to build a project that they don't approve of.
Thank you. And there'll be, I guess, some social media on this as well?
Yes.
Thank you. We are announcing the passing of Amendment 4 during the 2018 general election, restoring voting rights to felons. The amendment became effective January 2019. Informational flyers will be available at the meeting for the public. And so they're at the table. And when is the deadline for people to register to vote for the next upcoming election?
February 11th.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Judy? All right. Thank you.
I would know.
She's running.
Next, we have a proclamation for February 11th to the 17th, 2019 as 211 Awareness Week. Sharon LaRoe, 211's President CEO, will be present to accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas many times people need help in meeting life's basic needs, and whereas they may experience times of crisis and are not sure where to turn, 211 Helpline is that central access point providing individuals and families the guidance and support they need with over 106,454 requests for help last year. And whereas people of all ages can access 211 via phone, text, or online chat throughout the day and night, the City of Boynton Beach is indeed fortunate to have 211 Helpline. And whereas 211 also helps link vulnerable populations to crucial services with specialized advocacy and support programs that include 211's Special Needs Helpline, 211's Help Me Grow Initiative, Elder Crisis Outreach, and 211's Life-Saving Sunshine daily telephone reassurance calls continue to brighten the lives of local seniors. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, hereby proclaim February 11th to the 17th, 2019 as 211 Awareness Week. City of Boynton Beach, and urge all citizens to be aware that the simple 3 digits 211 helps them access information and referrals to programs and services at nearly 4,000 sites in our community.
I say something now? Or? Okay. Okay. My name is Tara Murray. I'm the VP of Development for 211 Helpline. I want to thank the Boynton Beach City Commission for allowing us to be here today, and Mayor Grant for being such a great advocate for us. The mission of 211 Helpline is to be there for people when they're struggling or just simply don't know where to turn. Last year, 211 answered over 4,300 requests for help from Boynton Beach residents. Over 100 of them were suicide-related crisis calls. We received nearly 100,000 requests for help from individuals in our region, and we simply couldn't do what we do without the support of our community. So I just want to thank everybody.
And Tara, before you go, I just want to thank you personally for your organization. They do so much good for Boynton Beach because sometimes people call me not having an answer to their issues, and I can always refer them to 211 to be that one, the first resource to answer so many different questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our next proclamation is for the month of February 2019 as American Heart Month. Tim Sturgio Allen, Director of Communications, will accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas cardiovascular disease kills 1 in 3 women in the U.S., yet 80% of cardiovascular diseases may be prevented, and cardiovascular diseases and stroke kill 1 woman every 80 seconds in the U.S. And whereas an estimated 44 million women in the U.S. are affected by cardiovascular disease, and 90% of women have 1 or more risk factors for developing heart disease or stroke. And whereas women are less likely to call 911 for themselves when experiencing symptoms of a heart attack than they are if someone else were having a heart attack. And only 36% of African American women, 34% of Hispanic women, and 65% of Caucasian women know that heart disease is their greatest health risk. And whereas the American Heart Association Go Red for Women movement motivates women to learn their family history and to meet with a healthcare provider to determine their risk for cardiovascular diseases and stroke. And women involved with the Go Red for Women movement live healthier lives. And whereas Go Red for Women encourages women to take control of their heart health by knowing and managing these 5 numbers: total cholesterol, HDL, good cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, and body mass index. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim February to be American Heart Month. And I urge all citizens to show their support for women and the fight against heart disease by increasing awareness, speaking about heart disease, and empowering women to reduce their risk for cardiovascular diseases.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, thank you on behalf of the American Heart Association of Palm Beach County. I want to thank you personally as a resident of Boynton Beach as well for proclaiming February as American Heart Month. Our mission is to be a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives. And you have become part of that mission today by making this proclamation. Public proclamations bring awareness to the local community, and we see awareness as the important first step towards taking action in combating heart disease. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next proclamation is for Thursday, February 7th, 2019, as Robert E. Wells Day. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas Mr. Robert E. Wells, a merchant sailor from Cat Island in the Bahamas, settled in Boynton in 1890, where he and his wife Elizabeth raised 1 son, Harry. Whereas in 1892, Robert and Elizabeth Wells helped found St. Paul's African Methodist Episcopal Church. Officially established in 1900, St. Paul's AME is the oldest church in the city. Whereas in 1896, Mr. Wells and other members of St. Paul's AME successfully petitioned Dade County School Board to provide a school for Boynton's black African-American children. Originally called Boynton Colored School, it later became known as Point Siena Elementary. Whereas on April 14, 1920, Mr. Wells was the signatory of the document incorporating Boynton as a town. However, the land owned by him and the rest of the historic heart of Boynton was not recognized in the corporation and was called Boynton Colored Town. Whereas in 1925, Mr. Wells platted the Robert Wells subdivision. He built the main thoroughfare in the historic heart of Boynton called Wells Avenue, now known as Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and built a home at number 416. In addition to selling land and building houses, Mr. Wells donated lots to those in need, including St. Paul's AME for the building of a church. In time, Wells Avenue became a thriving downtown area for the black African-American community. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the 7th of February, 2019 as Robert E. Wells Day. Would someone like to accept the proclamation? All right. Next.
Right.
Oh, it seems like it's. got his own.
To God be the glory. I'm Minister Bernard Wright, Bernard Wright Ministries, CEO of Robbie Wells Foundation and Real Talk Radio, WRTR 109.1, right here in the city of Boynton Beach, this wonderful city. I first want to thank God, but I want to thank all of you all on the dais without calling your names, which I do know personally. You all have done a great job. Ms. Kelly, thank you for being and filling that spot. All of you have done a great job. I want to also thank Pastor Davis here from St. John, all of you all from the fire department, our chief from the police department, Sister Tasha. We are making history in Boynton. It's a milestone. If you all do not
Mr. Wells,
know it,
into the microphone, please.
if you all do not know it, we're making history in Boynton a milestone. I've been in the midst of it for 7 years, which is the perfection of God. That's a number of perfection. Things have been happening in a prophetic spirit of a better Boynton since 2015. I've been proclaiming those words. I see better Boynton on all the signs now, so we all are in that spirit. And I want to say we have an important mayoral election coming up. There are a number of candidates. I want to say all of you all need to come out and vote. And I appreciate if y'all would just take the time to research who you're voting for. And let's vote for the one that you think from your own heart and mind, which would be best for all the people and Boynton as a whole. To God be the glory. No favoritisms hanging on no one coattail, but it's about a better Boynton. And we want the right ones on the dais for what's best for each district, not a one Boynton, because we have different culture. This is Black History Month. And it should be every day because it's so much to cover. We can't cover it in one day, in 1 year, by the grace of God. I just want to thank all of you all who are in attendance for whatever you are in attendance for. We don't have this crowd in the city commission meetings, not that often, but we do have them, by the grace of God. So I want to thank everybody who has been a part of this 5th annual Robbie Wells Day proclamation. There's been 5, and I just want to show you all this is nothing new. It started with Mayor Taylor. Thank God for him and his wife. I wish them well and my blessings on their lives. All of you all who have taken part in the Robbie Wells Love Fest that I've been giving by the grace of God through the contributions of the dais and the community every year on whatever the following Saturday. This year would be February the 16th. I would appreciate any contributions. My number is 754-246-0767. If there's any money from the dais this year, I would appreciate it very much. We're getting close to 2016, but I've been making preparations thanks to you, Mayor. God is good all the time. I just want to give a testimony here. Sometimes you have to watch what you say. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And I did have a controversy with my brother Mayor there, and it was serious business. And we are men, we have serious business conflicts. And but by the grace of God, on the day that we and God reconciled us, I did the invocation on the day we got the approval of Centennial and Wells Landing coming to Boynton Beach, which is historic and a milestone. If any of you all do not know it, it's something grave and paramount of a great magnitude going on in Boynton. Thank you all for your participation. If you didn't know that Robbie Wells was the leader of the Negro Civic League, having been elected during segregation, coming down here as I'm coming down here now. I'm in the spirit of Robbie Wells. I am the heir apparent of the Wells estate over in the Bahamas, great estate, and we are well known and recognized. Thank Boynton Beach for recognizing Black history here in Boynton Beach. There never have been a book written about our true history here, but now I'm in the process of writing one. If you want to collaborate with me, come on. If you have anything about this history, be recognized and honored. Thank you, Mayor Grant, and again, thank all of you all on the dais and all of you all here. God bless you. Have a great year this year.
Next, we have an announcement by Recreation and Parks Director Wally Majors about the upcoming barrier-free 5K and Magic Wheels and Special Deals event on February 8th and 9th. A brief slideshow featuring previous Magic wheelchairs will be included.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you very much. We are very excited that on Friday we host our 4th annual Magic Wheels and Special Deals event, and the following day our 7th annual barrier-free 5K run, walk, and roll. But we wanted to at least very briefly provide you with a quick PowerPoint slideshow that will help you at least get an idea when we mentioned that the featured activity for the Magic Wheels and Special Deals event is the unveiling of the Magic Wheelchair. And when you say Magic Wheelchair, it's a little hard to visualize what we mean unless you really have had the opportunity to join us the 3 previous years. So I've asked Debbie to join us and to share with you this very quick slideshow.
Thank you. Debbie Majors, Grants and ADA Coordinator. This is a very wonderful event. If you have not attended in the past, I encourage you to come. This is a slide of Barrier-Free Park, which this park was designed in 2010 and opened in 2012 to be an inclusive park, an example of a barrier-free park for all to enjoy. This is Keaton, and Keaton is in a really cool pirate ship, but what you can't really see is inside that pirate ship is his wheelchair. And if you're a kid in a wheelchair, it's just not really cool to go around on trick-or-treating without a cool costume. So his dad actually made the first magic wheelchair, and this is Keaton in his pirate ship. In 2016, we created some magic of our own and created an event called Magic Wheels and Special Deals. And this is the first magic wheelchair that was created for a little girl named Bella Marie. And it's a Cinderella carriage that had bubbles coming out of the top and lights lighting up in the nighttime. It was beautiful, very magical. In 2017, Emma received a purple Camaro, which was in memory of her father. Her father had passed away, and he had a purple Camaro as well. So this provided her something very magical and as well as a memory of her father. Last year's recipient was Joshua. And Joshua was really into the Cars movie, Disney Pixar Cars. So he and his brother both received some race cars, and you can see him sitting in there in his race car. This year's recipient is Nathan Michael Robles. He's 9 years old. That's him in a swing out at Barrier Free Park. He is blind and partially deaf, and he attends Royal Palm School. And over the past couple months, Resurrection Muscle Cars up in West Palm Beach has been busy making a customized truck-themed magic wheelchair for Nathan. And that will be unveiled on Friday evening. Again, as Wally said, he will be the honorary starter for the Barrier-Free 5K Run, Walk, and Roll on Saturday morning, February 9th at the park. And the special deals portion of Friday night is, you can see all the different logos that are up on the screen. We have, all of these organizations are either run or owned and operated by individuals with disabilities, or they support individuals with disabilities, and that makes these deals very special. So come get your Valentine's chocolates. There's artwork, there's clothing, there's dog treats, there's candles, and all kinds of gift items for yourself or a loved one. So we hope that you will come. If you're hungry or you're bringing children, Foodies for Autism food truck will be there, and they provide Chick-fil-A. So if you're into Chick-fil-A, you got dinner already made for you. So again, it's the 4th annual Magic Wheels and Deals and Special Deals, at the Barrier Free Park from 6 to 7:30 on Friday. And it's 3111 South Congress Avenue. And before you leave, if you want to pick up a postcard, they're right out here with all the details. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the following morning at 7:30 will be, again, our 7th annual 5K run, walk, and roll, which implies that regardless of your abilities, you're welcome to participate. And many of us just simply enjoy a nice walk through Hunter's Run, who, again, is graciously hosting the event again this year. And we also have events for the younger age groups. And just Debbie mentioned, we also have postcards here with some details. And very, very quickly, because this is not all, we do have summer camp registration that's starting downstairs. If anybody has a child between 5 and 12 years old, you can get them registered for summer camp. And then Bark Fest coming up February 23rd. More details to follow. Thank you very much.
And now we have a presentation by David Scott on opportunity zones in Boynton Beach.
Good evening.
You got an applause before you present.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. David Scott, Director of Economic Development and Strategy for the City of Boynton Beach. Just want to take a little time this evening just to briefly speak about opportunity zones and what they are. You may have heard a little bit about them. but opportunity zones are really a new tool in our toolbox for economic development. Let's see, push the right one. There we go. As you know, there's economic development directors, and cities have different opportunities and strategies for funding. Here's a little bit of that. They have direct funding, the CDBG grants, other things that you're very familiar with, but now there's a new one called opportunity funds, and I just want to talk a little bit about what they are. So opportunity funds are funds that are focused on what are called opportunity zones. And I'll get into a little bit about what opportunity zones are, but opportunity funds allow people with capital gains to defer those capital gains over time by investing in those opportunity zones. So we'll go a little bit further on how those opportunity zones were created and what they are and how they impact Boynton, and then what we can do next to encourage that. Of course, the zones were created through a nomination process. The governor appointed those or signed those opportunity zones following criteria from the new tax plan that was approved in 2017. We have 2 opportunity zones assigned in Boynton. Here are those opportunity zones, and the next map will be a little closer for those of us that are a little visually impaired. Here they are, those 2 in Boynton. Roughly, they are located 95 to the intercoastal, so that's the one that's 006100. So it's 95 to the intercoastal, and then roughly the canal to Boynton Beach Blvd. And then you'll see just past Federal Highway, there's a little part that drops down to Ocean. So Ocean 1 would be fit right into that zone. The other zone is north of that, and that's the one that's labeled 005701. That's basically gateway to roughly Minor from 95 to Federal Highway. So those are the 2 opportunity zones that have been assigned to the city of Boynton Beach. Again, those of us with that benefit from the opportunity zones can invest opportunity funds, and those opportunity funds come from capital gains. So those of us with with capital gains can join opportunity fund programs, and then those opportunity funds are then invested. And I just liken it to, you have a retirement fund. You don't care where that retirement fund gets invested as long as you're making money off that retirement fund. This is the same way. As long as that fund is invested into the opportunity zone, it then returns certain tax benefits to those investors in that fund. And you are able to defer some of those taxes on your capital gains. The clock is ticking. We have a very short time to make that happen. So we're starting to connect those programs with those advantages within those zones. We're talking with a few developers about what that looks like. We have a meeting coming up with the CRA and others to start making those tours and introducing different people to the opportunity zones. We're also have included opportunity zone information on our website, so those that are interested could certainly look there. This is just an example, and I thought this was a great example of what that investment means. So for $1 million, if you have $1 million in capital gains, and you want to invest that, if you hold it in the opportunity fund for 5 years, your tax liability is reduced by 10%. You hold that for 7 years, it's now reduced by 15%. And then 10 years is actually reduced by more than 10%. And then beyond 10 years, we hold it for 10 years, it's now forgiven. So as you see, that's the same investment, $1 million, 6% per annum. The blue is outside the opportunity zone. The orange is inside the opportunity zone. So for that same $1 million, if you invested inside of an opportunity zone, you actually could make over $350,000 on your investment. So it really is set up to encourage investment in those private investment in the opportunity zones. What are some of the challenges? One of the challenges is it's still early, so the rulemaking is still going on. A lot of that is still up in the air and being finalized with the Department of Treasury. The other thing is we still have a very short window for investment, so we're still waiting for those rules to be finalized. And the third thing is we've got to be able to connect our investors with our opportunity zones and really get out there and promote it. And as I say, we need to help them find each other. Some of the ways other cities are approaching this, they're really using those opportunity zones, and this commission has certainly had those conversations as well as the CRA board, looking for opportunities to encourage use of the opportunity fund as you encourage investment within those opportunity zones. Some of those other cities are stipulating that investment goes towards affordable housing, or they encourage affordable housing within those projects. Policy making, their local entrepreneurs or local retail gets first dibs on some of these investments and projects. We already layer incentives to remove blight. So CRA, that's their mission, and so you can use this to help target those areas. And of course, easing permitting, which we already have a very supportive permitting process. So again, what we need to do is start identifying those areas and locations where we can certainly bring the partners together, the opportunity zones, along with investment, working with the CRA and the city to connect the dots, convene those meetings of business owners and business people and developers that are interested in working with the city in those opportunity zones, and actually help create, if we could, encourage the opportunity fund to be created. So we can certainly continue to do that. With that, because this is really one of those things that you really should talk to tax lawyers about and make sure you're involved with that, we have referenced the U.S. Conference of Mayors as our reference. They are very up to speed on what this is all about in the rulemaking, and we stay involved with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But these are just a few of the references where you can get more information. Again, we have a link on our website that will help link you to some of these references and resources. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Mr. Scott, the opportunity zone numbers, who assigned those?
They were assigned by the state, the governor.
Okay, the next question I have, how are you presenting this like to the people who own businesses here? I'm just saying, are you all doing an outreach program? You know, it sounds good to me sitting up here, but the citizens that's here, they know about it, but we're missing a whole group, you know. What are your plans on marketing this?
We've just added it to our website,
okay.
And at the commission's suggestion, which you have done over a few weeks, I'm sorry, we just started pushing it out there and getting it out there more. So we put it on the website. We need to push it out on social media, but we don't want to get too far ahead of it, Commissioner, because there's still a lot of rulemaking out there. So we're doing as much as we can with what we know.
So we are in the infancy stage
yes.
right now.
Yes.
Okay.
It is very, very fluid at this point until that rulemaking gets settled.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Mayor?
No.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor?
What, if any, influence can we have on the rulemaking process?
None.
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 It's done.
It's coming from Washington.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I know you have people up there.
One of the questions that we always get is also, can we change the opportunity zone? And the answer is no. They've been set by Washington and the governor, and they don't change.
Okay, well, I do want to emphasize on one of the points that you went back to. You were saying we referenced that from the Conference of Mayors. Go back a couple slides.
Right there.
Keep going. This here. So those are the things that made my ears perk up. You know, the fact that if we're going to go forward with this, or when we go forward with this, because I don't see any detriment really once we get all the kinks worked out on this program, to encourage people to come and invest within our blighted communities. I also, again, want to make sure, and I think the mayor and I stand in agreement on this, we always maintain the ability for individuals to have ownership, or at least have the ability to dictate these projects and these developments, and making it their own identity. So those are the things I want to make sure we emphasize as we really create the landmark for this project and this process. And we keep that at the top of mind as we keep moving forward.
This commission and as well as the CR board has been really on top of these. These things are all the things that you have encouraged with developers as they come in the door. So I would ask that this commission as well as the CRA board, continue to push these because they're very important to this community and the areas that we are targeting for the opportunity zones. As this becomes more successful and the money becomes more available, you'll see more investment in those communities, and that's the purpose of the opportunity zones, to really focus on those communities that really need the most help. And this is another tool in our toolbox.
Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. Mr. Scott, you made mention that, time is running out. Okay, the government was shut down, I'm just saying, for 35 days. I'm just saying we can't buy time from that?
No. Well, the time we bought, Commissioner, is the fact that they have been delayed getting this information out. So they may start adding time at the end, but right now we have no control over that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. If you could also email this to us.
You finished with a bang, okay?
Yeah. And
David, I don't know if
announcement
you heard me
3H,
past that.
we're going to, excuse me.
Mayor?
What would you like?
No, I was saying, I don't know if you heard me with all that. I was asking, please email this to us as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Next, I'd like to recognize and acknowledge the Boynton Beach Fire Rescue Department's outstanding performance in the Florida Fire Chiefs Association Rapid Intervention Team Competition in Daytona Beach, presented by Chief Glenn Joseph.
Good evening, everybody. Glenn Joseph, Fire Rescue. I'd like to present your international competition champions. Come on down, guys. Number one. So to remove all doubt, they came in number one at preliminaries and number one in the finals. So there was no doubt that they're number one.
Yeah.
This competition is international. There's over 30-odd teams involved from all over the country. And these guys are the third time competing, 3 times, and they nailed it. So I'd like to bring up Matt Oxendine. He's the team leader. He's going to tell you why this competition is so special to him personally and why they made such a great effort to come in and make us look good.
Alrighty, first of all, just thank you guys for recognizing us tonight. It means a lot to us. This is kind of an unknown competition, but it's huge in the fire world. So first of all, just let me tell you what RIT is, in case you just don't know exactly what it is. RIT stands for Rapid Intervention Team. You guys obviously know we're firefighters, and we go in and out of buildings, trying to search, locate, preserve property. An RIT team is for us. It may sound a little selfish, but you can just imagine firefighters get lost, they get low on air, there's buildings collapse, anything can go wrong. We always have a group stationed outside of all those buildings for us, and that's what a RIT team is. So normal firefighters have to be in really good shape, have to have very good skills. These guys have to be in better shape, have to have even more skills. They're the bigger, faster, stronger group of firefighters, and you can see them. They even look it, I'm not lying. But also training. We train off shift, unpaid off shift. We train on shift. They really bought in probably 4 or 5 months ago. It was a really tough time for me. I lost my dad. These guys made me cry for a week now. But they honored me and my family by writing 55, which was my dad's number, at Boynton Beach Fire Department. And I can't thank them enough. I can't thank you guys enough for honoring us this way. And 29 teams, and we always say little old Boynton Beach. We're not supposed to go and win this kind of thing. You know, there's Metro-Dade, Jacksonville, Palm Beach County, Orlando, Boca Raton, everybody along these coasts here. But yeah, these guys, I mean, like I said, we're extremely proud, and we're happy to represent you guys. A lot of us are local. We grew up around here. So thank you guys very much for the recognition. Sorry, I'll tell you their names real quick, too. Let me, this first guy right here is Tommy Rodriguez. He's actually an anomaly at this competition because he hasn't even been with us for a year yet. He's only 9 months on, so he's basically a probationary firefighter, and everybody asks why he had a yellow shield on, and that's what like, why does this guy have a yellow shield? So you can just imagine how much hard work he's had to put in 9 months of being hired to be in this competition. The next one's Stephen Wandell, who's a second-generation firefighter like myself. His dad just retired a few months ago. He has 3 years on, so still very, very young. All these guys are in their 20s, by the way, except for Jeff. I'm 35. Jeff is our mentor. He's the one that started with us the first year before a couple of these guys were even hired. And he tagged along. He was our alternate in case someone would have got injured. Then I would have had to be on the team and he would have done IC. So it's Jeff Power. Next one's Tyler Hoffman. That's our senior guy, still in his 20s. He's been with us for 5 years. He's the anchor. He's the one that, besides myself, kind of knows all the skills to train on and all that, so he's put in a lot of work. Last but not least is Tate Kilpatrick. He just passed probation, so he hasn't even been with us 2 years yet, so you can imagine how much time and effort he's put on. And just the skills that we have to do, just so you know, these guys are fully bunked out, on air, gloves, everything, mask, and they basically black you out, which means you can't see anything. So the first day that we won was, we actually saw the course, so we kind of knew what we were going into, but then they vis-queen you out, which you can't see anything. They have to do all the skills, fine little motor skills with gloves on. The second day, they had to show up at 7 a.m. They sequester you. They take your cell phones, your Apple Watches. They take everything. They blindfold you, put you fully bunked out before you walk out there. You can't see the course. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. And they just start crawling around and doing their job. And that's how we won. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
So 2 very important things. Number 1, we beat Boca Raton.
Yes.
In the preliminaries and the finals. We've been both times. And these guys are great. So thank you for your effort, and we appreciate it. One other shout out before I leave. Chief Clemens is going to be presenting at the Fire Department International Instructors Conference in Indianapolis next month. That's a big deal. We're going international, people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And I know that it's, I know we mentioned it before, that February 14th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., we are having our job fair over at Ezel Hester, so that anybody who's looking for work at our Town Square project, please note Ezel Hester on February 14th from 8 a.m. to 12. Is there any other announcements before we move on? Seeing none. Moving on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to three-minute presentations. Please state your name and address for the record. And if you'd like to speak about an item on the agenda, please at this time let us know. Yes.
How are you doing? My name is Patrick Glover. I'm Program Manager at Echo Connect, Career Source, Palm Beach County. I reside in Delray Beach, Florida. Just moments ago, early today, the Delray Beach City Commission approved office space for us to roll out these services for 17 to 24-year-olds. I and my secretary have sent you all correspondence to see if we could get a meeting time together to roll out these services in Boynton as well. They're catering to individuals living in the 33426, 33435, and 33444 zip code. These are the targeted areas. I have a budget of about $200,000 to provide employment to individuals 17 to 24, out of school, non-working. And if we could do it together, partnership, extending the olive branch, I really appreciate your cooperation. I reached out to Mr. Mike Simon. I worked with him years ago when he was on the board and working with the CRA in Delray. He did great work. I touched bases with him last week. I think he's going to be reaching out. He told me he's in Tallahassee this week. So whatever we could do, I sent you all the literature. I left some here as well. Love to implement the opportunity here.
All right. Thank you for reaching out to us. I guess, Lori, do we have any sort of...
Do you have anything
Yeah, I didn't get
Yeah, I do.
So I think that we do have some facilities still left that we haven't torn down. Okay. That
We do?
that we can work with you.
The city of Delray, what they did was...
Yeah, I got to go to the
Yeah, back to
microphone.
the mic.
You know, we do, yeah.
The city of Delray, what they did was they have a good program set up for companies that do work like this, so they afforded us office space for $1 a year. We're trying to clone that blueprint because, you know, as we know, I hear a lot of cries day in and day out. I'm in the trenches rolling out this program, and the first thing, when the dollars came down and we were awarded, I was like, hey, let's hit the south end of the county. I know my minutes are coming to a near end. I really appreciate all the work that you all are doing. Thank you on behalf of Ecker Connect Alternatives, Career Source Palm Beach as the program manager, and send us any calendar invites for any upcoming town hall meetings or anything like that, because you know, we could afford the budget to try the product, meaning we pay for the internship, you place them wherever you want to place them. We just want to be able to train them so they're an asset in their market. A lot of people can't even make money serving water, being a waiter, because they don't know how to serve ice cold water and place the proper utensils on the table. We do that through Serve Safe training and things of that nature.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I know, Mayor, you just mentioned the community job fair, but would that be something perhaps you could as well attend and just to kind of be a part of that? And
Definitely. After speaking with Mr. Scott, he explained that someone from the office, but like I said, we're catering to the 17 and 24. So send us whatever literature. We just want to be able to help and rid society of whatever problems we can from our end.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. I hope everyone noticed it's the 6 o'clock news tonight. Delray has had their second reading on the plastic straw ban, and it passed. I've been complaining about this since before they even started looking at it, and they have now beat us. So please, let's get started on this. The recent rains have reiterated the need to mitigate potential flooding areas. There's been lots of floods in my neighborhood. I'm sure there's been floods in everyone else's neighborhoods. Last commission meeting, I brought up 3 pervious paving options. The first one being traditional pavement, where they take out some of the particles and it allows water to go through. The second one was the honeycomb plastic, which I emailed all of you about yesterday. The third type is the traditional concrete pavers, which we all see, which allows a lot of water to go through. I wanted to talk about the pervious pavement with the plastic honeycomb. I would very much like it if you guys would consider putting into the code that individuals are allowed to have this in their driveways. I know Colin very kindly responded this afternoon, a very long email that I don't necessarily 100% understand. So Colin, we will be talking about not maybe using this for a huge commercial approach, but for individual driveways, I don't see where the problem is, and this has been proven over and over to be effective. And what it is you lay down, if I'm understanding correctly, the base. It's like a gravel base or some kind of sand base. Colin probably can explain it better than me. But this honeycomb mesh they put down has a mesh backing to it with the honeycomb plastic pieces on top. And those are the pictures I sent you. And that is what keeps the weeds out. And then you can either fill with grass or you can fill with gravel. You get the structure and it's not moving and shifting because of the little honeycomb plastic pieces, which are the pictures I sent you in the links yesterday. But this would be a great alternative for individual homeowners to have for their driveways, because then you're not having the flooding problems and all the water's seeping through. And these recent rains should be, letting us see that this is an issue. So I'm going to run out of time, so I better stop talking. So I just want to say I hope I've provided you enough information that you will move forward on this and work with the planning and zoning department to get this on the code so that individuals can use it in individual neighborhoods. I understand probably the HOAs might be too afraid, but the people in my neighborhood, several of us are very eco-friendly, as I'm sure the Vice Mayor can tell you, and we want to move forward with something like this. So let's put this in the code so we can make it happen, and thank you very much.
Suzanne Ross, Schoolhouse Children's Museum, and happy February.
I thought I'd give you a quick update about the museum, and I'm sure everybody is curious as to how we're doing now that construction is going great guns. There is no question that operations have been affected by the exciting project that is Town Square. That said, however, the effect is not as dramatic as some people might think. While there's no predicting about the future, the effects so far, we're holding our own. The fiscal year so far, admissions revenue is off by less than 6%. Membership revenue is also lower. However, program income has increased by 89%. Party and facilities rental by 40%. And thanks to a very generous donation from the Cavoris Charitable Trust, the Jim Moran Foundation, Young Dentistry, and increased direct public support, contributions have increased by 64%. Ending the first quarter in a healthy position and in the black. Which brings me to announce that the museum will be holding its 2019 Schoolhouse Bash fundraiser. This year's theme is Too Cool for School, and Benvenuto's is the perfect setting for a playful adventure wrapped up in some great fun to benefit the museum's education and outreach programs. Excuse me. Paula Melly and Alan Hendricks are co-chairs for the event, and we hope you will join us. Be it at the Nerds table, the cheerleaders, brainiacs, detention crew, or any one of a number of other tables. Tickets are on sale now via the website or at the museum. If you buy before March 1st, you can save a few dollars. And as always, we invite you to play with us at the Schoolhouse Museum, where learning is an adventure.
Thank you. What is the date, Susan?
Please.
What's the date for the event?
Oh, the date, hello. April 11th.
Thank you.
My name's Tori Orr. I'm from Cherry Hill, Florida. I want to talk to y'all tonight, man. There's been a lot going on in Boynton Beach, in District 2. I represent a company called Boynton Strong. What we do is give back to the community, help out where we see needed, fit. But as of since October, we've seen a spike, big spike, in shooting, people getting killed in my neighborhood. It's only 3 of us, Boynton Strong. And we went to these monsters. I went to them straight up. Hey man, y'all got to stop this. They said, if y'all come back over here, we're going to kill y'all. I said, dang. I said, well, I got to try to send a postcard down. Because I'm needed to stop, right? Then, just the other day, I'm out, broad daylight, 10 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for the Super Bowl, feeding kids hot dogs and hamburgers, and them things go to flying, 150 of them. You think I seen anybody come and do an investigation? We being disenfranchised in District 2, as usual, as a people, not just speaking for Boynton Strong, I'm speaking for the whole community over there. People are scared to come out their door. I pay taxes every day. I go to work every day. If I got air in my chest, I work. And I'm not on drugs. And it's just so scary, man. It's real scary over there right now. You know, I know a lot of people, y'all probably like, what are you doing? He up here making a mess, he up here, But we need some help over there. It's 3 of us from Boynton Strong. 3. And we doing all we can do. They done told us if we come back over there, they're going to kill me. But I done went back over there again, but I ain't dead, I'm still here. I'm going to continue to go speak to them. Hopefully, I can reach one of them. But we need some help. Bad, fast. This has been going on since October. Ain't nothing happened. Ain't nobody went to the county jail and had to bond out of nothing. At least let them sit in there and fight something. Make them change their mind. Because these kids scared to go anywhere. And I'm scared too, for them. So I'm asking y'all on this board, because I don't see the Boynton police not doing nothing about it, period, but want to take me to jail for coming up here and want to speak tonight. That's all they want to do. Officer here putting his hands on me out the door. I pay taxes every day.
All right. Thank you very much.
And I think I'm being disenfranchised.
We have someone.
Minister Bernard Wright, 713 Northwest 2nd Street. Someone before me coming? I just want to piggyback on what he's saying about the shooting and all, because I'm in the midst of that, and I want to say that it is unnecessary. But if nobody coming up, but let me just say this. Okay. What we got to do as men in this town, this is not a police responsibility. It's not a police problem. It's our problem there. Our children, our teenagers. Bringing them from the clubs down to the street, then to people's family houses. This is not a principle among mankind. We don't know how to live unless we know the Bible. But now, in fact, to tradition, every man teaches his child, don't you pull a pistol unless in self-defense. If you pull it, use it. Respect your elders. Someone do good, say thank you. These are the things we're not teaching our children. We're not teaching our teenagers, because most of us are scared. I'm not. They're telling them pull their pants up. Hey, man, that's not right. You got the penitentiary, you got the graveyard. Which one you want to go? They're afraid to speak. So on my radio program every morning, I'm saying, where are the real men that won't fight? They want to pick up a pistol. Real men fight. The next day, you're probably the best of friends, because steel is tempered by the fiercest fire. There's no diamond without pressure from the earth. So usually when we come into conflicts, we become all right and probably some of the best of friends. But however, they don't fight today. But that's not a principle we're going to allow, not in my territory, not where I live. To God be the glory. You won't find it where I am. And when I'm there, hardly would you find a conflict. I ran into one. Thank God it didn't go where it was escalated, but you all are aware of, in bits and pieces, the shootings and things of that nature. I'm in the midst of it, and I'm saying this. It's all of our responsibility as men. 86% of our children in jails and prisons was raised by single mothers, and 98% on death row were raised by single mothers. Where are the daddies? White, black, blue, green, Asian, doesn't matter. So we've got to start promoting and marketing what being a gentleman is, what being a man is, and being a real woman is all about, and from our children on through the streets. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. What are you afraid of to let a youngster tell you how you should live in your community? God bless all of y'all. Just stand up and be men.
Hey, Mayor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister, for your words. I do agree that we do need to make sure that this is a community effort. On behalf of our police department, we do receive the information about different shootings and different things that happen, and we are aware that our police department did go out there and did investigate that shooting. So I did not want to let that untruth sit without being challenged. Our police department did go out there. They did conduct an investigation. They found several casings. But no one said anything. No one came forward to make any testimony or present as a witness. So again, for the sake of the public understanding the truth, our police department is working every single day to keep our city safe. Sometimes you have individuals, you have youth who choose to make decisions where they don't care about the well-beings of others, and they put themselves and other people in danger. So we cannot say that our police department is not doing their job when these things are happening.
I was told to come back by the chief, but let me just say this. I'm piggybacking on Brother Orr, and I'm not putting him down. He's dead right in what he's saying. And there should be a more intensive investigation being followed up by the police department. No doubt. I'm right with him. I'm not against him. I'm just saying I'm tired of hearing people say I'm afraid to go out the house, because these are isolated incidents that you have every so often in Boynton, by the grace of God. But I live there on Cherry Hill, in the Boynton Hill section. And I don't see the fear that people are coming claiming that don't live inside of there. When they do escalate, that's a time when no one wants to be around, called bullets fly. But normally it's a peaceful town by the grace of God. We just got to stand up. But I want to say there's a free summer camp. There's a summer camp coming up, and there's a poster downstairs. You all got children, y'all should attend, address that. Take a look at it by the grace of God. And we have the like I said, Roddy Wells Festival coming up on the 16th. So I need some donations. To God be the glory. But I want to say, let's everybody as a community effort step in and do what we need to do to keep peace and pray first, by the grace of God.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else for public comments? Seeing none, moving on to consent agenda, administrative. We have no one applying for any of the
city advisory boards. We have the Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Education and Youth Advisory Board. We are looking for student members, the Historic Resources Preservation Board, the Library Board, and the Senior Advisory Board. Now we're moving on to consent agenda.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to pull item 6E.
Thank you. Is there any other items to be pulled? Seeing none. Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. Right. The reason I pulled this is that, you know, it's nice to know that we are receiving grant fundings for this city, and I think that Debbie needs to just give us a rundown how much money is coming into this city from grants, you know, that we don't have to worry about paying back.
Okay. Thank you. Debbie Majors, Grants and ADA Coordinator. For the fiscal year of 17-18, the departments submitted 14 grant requests totaling $906,866. And what we were awarded during that year, we actually were awarded 16 grants totaling $1,766,384.50. And what that those are made up of primarily competitive grants. We do have some grant funding that is given to us, like the SHIP housing funding, the CDBG Community Development Block Grant funding, and our library receives some entitlement funds, but primarily these are competitive grants for police, fire, rec and parks, utilities, and other departments. Do you want it for next year, what we planned on, or for this current year?
No,
The numbers?
I'm good with just this year, what we
Okay.
have received. And the reason I wanted to be noted is that monies do come in
Absolutely.
through the grant program, and I just wanted you to help us toot the horn for the citizens that's present tonight, as well as your horn.
Okay.
Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank
Motion
you.
to approve that one,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Yes. Second. All right. Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. May I have a motion for the remainder of the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Bids and purchases over $100,000. Award to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Kelly Janitorial Systems, Inc. of Doral, Florida, for janitorial services for city municipal buildings and facilities in the estimated two-year amount of $406,203.12 plus $80,000 for additional services that may be required for a total estimated two-year amount of $486,203.12. Issuance of purchase order is contingent upon receipt and approval of insurance and applicable payment and performance guarantees and blanket fidelity bonds. This bid allows for 3 one-year renewals contingent upon mutual approval and determination that renewal is the city's best interest. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank
For
you.
discussion.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The reason I wanted to discuss is that I recognize that we tore down a lot of buildings here in the city of Boynton, but one thing I was kind of like lackadaisy of, and I asked the city manager, you know, this morning, I said, do we still have all that cleaning? So it's nice to know that we do have all that cleaning. Since we moved them around, they still clean the facilities in which they have to clean. So thank you. Mayor, we're ready to vote.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Proposed resolution number R19-014, authorize the city manager to sign the kinetic art fabrication agreement with EES Designs LLC of Fort Lauderdale in the amount of $334,161.45 for the Town Square Kinetic Public Art Projects. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Can we get a picture
Yes.
before we approve this? Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
And I know that there's going to be some sort of seating around this. Is that correct? So this is
Yes,
not
that is correct.
as accurate. And how tall is it going to be?
I'm going to let the expert answer
Yes.
those
All
questions. I can do the site work, but that's the
Okay.
expert.
Debbie Coles DeBay, Public Art Manager. It's 27 feet high, 26 feet wide.
Of all three?
Total,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. And it's kinetic art, so they're all going to move. And
Kinetic art, yes. Each one of those, there's 3 different spheres that go up, and there's 11-foot wings, 7 per pole, that interface and intertwine with one another.
And this is going to stand a hurricane?
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Katz.
And the color and the materials will be true to form on that picture?
Yes, we have brushed aluminum upper and lower of the wings with polished aluminum on the surfaces.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but we're going to vote on this, but don't leave because I got a comment to make after we finish voting on this.
All right. Is there any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. The reason I want you to stay up here is the 3 butterflies. Is the 3 butterflies or 4? Every time I pass that way, I'm in awe when I go by there. I'm like, oh, the butterflies. I guess I'm kind of fascinated by butterflies, but that piece of art, well done. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonderful piece for a new project
Oh,
that's
yes,
in the
yes.
city. Thank you. Anything else?
No. Next is approved task order with Kimley Horn and Associates in the amount of $112,474 in accordance with our RFQ General Consulting Services Contracts, Scope Category D, awarded by City Commission on August 7, 2018, for assistance with the city's 2019 Transportation Alternative Program grant application on Southeast 1st Street and 30% civil engineering design plans. May I have a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
I guess my quick question is, are they going to be there if we approve of this budget at the meeting on Thursday? Yeah.
Boy, Colin, you just so excited to talk tonight, nobody's letting you speak.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I missed your question.
So Kimley Horn will be there?
Yes, they're going to have 2 people, I think, in attendance.
Okay. And what are some of the other concerns that the citizens should come with regarding this type of project, the sidewalks, whether there's going to be bike lanes or...
Well, the idea is you can't walk on the street now. It's not safe for them to walk on it. So I'd like them to come in and, well, there's going to be some frontage, some homes with frontage. There's some businesses with frontage on Southeast 1st Street. So I would perceive that they would be concerned that if they had a sidewalk in their front yard, they wouldn't be able to use their side yard for parking. So I would like them to come in with those types of concerns. If they have drainage problems, I'd like to know about the drainage problems. I walked the road the other morning, and there's cars, and they travel at such high rates of speed, because that's another thing that we're looking at with this money too, is we want to be able to make it a safe area for everybody who uses it. There's some limitations, so while ideally we like to put sidewalks on both sides of the road, I don't know if that's possible. There are other issues with maybe we're just going to do sidewalk on one side of the road, or maybe it's just going to be a road with maybe a bike lane. So we have to ferret all these things out, and that's what this proposal does with Kimley Horn, is they're going to help us draw up plans, make sure that we present the 30% plans for the grant, and ask for the money that we need that would be applied towards this project.
And this would also help with the Southeast 11th Avenue intersection, right by the railroad tracks?
Oh, absolutely. That's a big part of this design, is we want to fix that. There's a lot of right-of-way there that we want to reclaim.
Okay. Excellent. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to public hearing. May I have a motion to remove item A from the table? Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion is removed from the table. Jim, would you like to read?
Ordinance 19004, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Ordinance 8938 by amending the future land use element of the Comprehensive Plan for Property commonly known as Boynton Beach Mall and described herein, owned by Washington Prime Group, LLC, and others, changing the land use designation from Development of Regional Impact, DRI, to Mixed Use Low, MXL, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
We have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All right. Do we have a presentation from the city?
Yes, if you want to
Do we want to
look
do
at
both?
the short presentation, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be fine. So, Jim, can you read the second ordinance as well?
Ordinance 19005, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, approving an amendment to Policy 1.3.1B, Development of Regional Impact, DRI, of the future land use element of the Comprehensive Plan, to delete the Boynton Beach Mall DRI from the list of DRI classified sites, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
Yes.
Hannah Matas, Senior Planner. So the item before you today is really the first step towards the future development of Boynton Beach Mall. This is a city-initiated item and includes two components, as you just heard. The first is a proposed future land use amendment, changing the mall future land use classification from DRI into the mixed-use law. And the second one is the amendment to the comprehensive plan future land use, which eliminates the Boynton Beach Mall from the list of DRI classified sites. Please note this is a transmittal hearing. Both of the items have to go, will be sent to the state for the state coordinated review. And we expect that the adoption hearing would take place in April. Also, please note that this is just the land use amendment. There's no, at this time, we have no application for a zoning or for the master plan for the and future development of the mall. Okay, the quick look at the map of the area that's going to be classified. This indicates the ownership of the parcel. So the main owner is the Washington Prime, and which owns 4 parcels within that area bordered in red. Then there is 5 other owners. That includes Macy's, Dillard's, the church, the owner of the movie car, and the owner of the Texas restaurant, Roadhouse restaurant. Now, oops. Here's the timeline of the major events that in mall history. So the DRI for the mall, the Development of Regional Impact, was approved by the county in 1973. In 1982, the city has annexed the main parcel. A few years later, the city annexed also the Pine Preserve. I want you to look at this on this map. In the upper right corner, there is a green area which is part of the mall DRI. However, this is classified recreational and will not change the future land use classification. So the city then annexed this parcel, and development order for the mall has been amended several times. And there were 2 major amendments, one in 1989 to accommodate arrival of Sears, and then one in 2005 to accommodate the movie theater. In 2008, the mall property was classified to DRI as a future land use category. And in 2002, at the end of 2002, 2 things happened. At the end of the year, Christ Fellowship Church purchased one of the Dillard's building, and also in that same month, DRI, the development order for mall DRI have expired. Now, this is the current classification, future land use classification. You see
Excuse me, before you go any further, put that back up there, because you kept saying 2000. Is that 2012 with my eyeglasses? It's 2012. You said 2002.
2012.
12, okay, but you were saying 2002.
Oh, sorry, 2012.
Thank you, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. So you see the DRI current classification of that mall area with the classification of the surrounding properties. Again, to reiterate, this amendment supports planned conversion of the mall project to a future land use, to mixed use. And there are several reasons why we are doing this. Number one is that enclosed malls have been closing all over the country for the last decade, and it's not a viable retail model for the future. Second, again, as I just said, that the development order for the mall DRI expired, and for the successful development of the mall, we need the planned zoning district with flexibility in both the use and design, and that's the only future land use classification that meets this requirement is the requested mixed-use law future land use. we expect the zoning and master plan applications to be filed sometime this year. And as I said, amendment will require state review. Just to give you a little bit more information, the DRI, which has a definition in the comprehensive plan, excludes residential uses. Right now it has just retail uses, and the proposed flood specification, mixed-use law, includes residential uses to the maximum density of 20 units per acre. If you look at the proposed future land use, you notice the Boynton Village just across the Congress Avenue is the same, with the same future land use. This just for your information. This is a comprehensive plan text amendment, and this essentially eliminates that text, which gives a definition to what mall DRI is. As you see, it defines the specific square footage of the allowed retail uses. So all of this is eliminated, and so mall is one of the 3 properties in the city that has that future land use designation, and now it's going to be out. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them, please.
Yes, Commissioner Katz.
It's not so much a question, but I just, wanted to applaud the city in their efforts to connect with the owners of the mall property. It's been something that personally, since coming into this position 3 years ago and representing District 1 where it's located, it's been something that I've said in my recommendations every year for the strategic plan. This has to be redeveloped. I grew up in New Jersey. I spent half my childhood in malls because that's what kids in New Jersey do. But malls don't carry, the impact they used to. And this mall has been, sadly, in some respect, a sore spot in the city when malls decline in occupancy and these giant open spaces become less occupied. Crimes and people go there to prey on shoppers. So it's been a sore spot for the district and the city, and the opportunity to retain some of the quality pieces of the mall area right now, the movie theater, the restaurant, it's great for the city. It's going to be a nice revitalization of an area that a lot of people have avoided, even though it's just adjacent to a lot of the main commercial activity that everyone goes to on Congress. So I look forward to everything that's going to come from this. The opportunity to build more office space in the city, the opportunity to put some more mixed use and activate an area that's been off the radar for a lot of people. It's a tremendous opportunity, and I think that everyone in the city has the consensus that this is a long time overdue, and there's a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait till this comes back with an actual site plan and some proposals. So thank you for everything you're doing, and thank the owners of the property, because everybody wants this to be redeveloped, and now everyone's going to get that.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Commissioner Katz said, is that we understand that the mall was built in the 80s, and it's no longer the 80s, and we need to really revitalize this for the 21st century, and having the ability to put commercial office space and residentials is going to be imperative for the survival of the mall. And it's also in the sense that, the city is working with the business community, foreshadowing problems that could occur and making both Boynton Beach better by, fixing those problems rather than just making the mall currently its same land use and zoning. Is there any other comments from the board?
Yeah, sure. I again want to echo Commissioner Katz's comments and commend staff on their foresight. I also want to thank the owners of the mall for thinking outside the box and wanting to go further than just what has been normally done or what's been the norm in the past. We have some tremendous success that's coming towards the east side of town with the development of Town Square, and now we can get to expand on the success that's already happening on the Congress corridor and really just take it another notch further. So I'm excited to see this, and I'm excited to see what that brings us into the next stage for our city. So thank you all.
Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you. I'm excited because I was here when the mall was built. And I recognize with change, things are happening and everything. I'm glad you all have thought outside the box, and I'm just saying, when I go out there, it looks like it's just wasted space to me. I'm just saying, there's nobody out here. Job well done. Another good job of thinking outside the box. You're keeping me out the box tonight, okay?
Yeah. All right. Any further comments from the board? I'll open it up to the public if anyone would like to speak. Seeing none, may I have a roll call on the proposed ordinance number 19-004.
Yes. Aye.
Yes.
All right. I believe we still need a motion to approve before we get the roll call. So may I have one of those?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. May I have a roll call on proposed ordinance number 19-005?
I think we had one.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 All right. And items B and C are still on the table. And we're moving on to City Manager's report. Discuss sending a City Commission representative to Palm Beach County Days on March 5th, 2019, and authorize travel accordingly. Additionally, the Palm Beach County Legislative Action Days will be held March 26th, 27th in Tallahassee. The Commission may want to consider attending this event as well. I kind of would like to request that the Commission authorizes any one on the Commission to go to Tallahassee during the legislative session. I won't be able to make the Palm Beach County Days and maybe not the Legislative Action Days, but I still would like to go up to Tallahassee if possible to speak to our legislators to make sure that when it gets down to the wire that our appropriations don't get a line item. Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. This year it's kind of a hard task for us to decide who will be going because I'm just saying we have 4 vacancies that's up. My seat is not up, but I'm just saying, but if we can just get something in place, if anybody is viable to go to represent the city of Boynton, I'm in favor of that. But the remainder of the individuals sitting up here, y'all going to be hard down campaigning. So,
Yeah. So are you saying that you'd like to go?
No, I'm saying that I would not like to go. I've done my days up there, okay? Yes, but we just hold off, okay? But I'm just saying you could put it in there. If I decide to go, at least it's in there. If anybody else want to step up and go, who's sure that they're going to get their seat back? Maybe they might say, I don't have to campaign,
Correct. So we don't want to spend money for someone not going.
No.
But do you need a consensus or a motion to approve?
I think a consensus will be okay on that. Just, yeah, I believe so.
To authorize
For our travel policy. I
so
think we're
basically
okay with
Palm
that.
Beach County is what, 2 nights?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we'll authorize
It's a day and
the
a half
City
event.
Commission for travel and 2 nights in Tallahassee during the legislative session.
Our next meeting, our legislative priority list, which based on some conference calls that I've sat on with the League of Cities, we've got some wild and crazy stuff already getting introduced up there. So we definitely want to be part of that and let our voices be heard with our legislators. So thank you. I encourage us to be up there and represented.
All right, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consider disposition of the following city-owned land, vacant land, Southwest First Court, adjacent to Leisureville. I believe we had a letter of intent regarding this property.
Yes, sir. We've received an offer to purchase the land by a developer, I believe, that wants to build some homes. Colin, I'll
Groff,
let you
Assistant
go in
City
on
Man-
detail the
yeah.
number of homes.
Colin Groff, Assistant City Manager. We received a letter of interest from a developer to construct 12 homes on this property with a price. There is a map if you need to see where it is, but I think most of you all know where this piece of land is. Based on our policies, you have a couple of options tonight, and I just want to go over them real quick. First one is you can agree with the letter of interest and authorize staff to negotiate with the person offering. The second option you have is you can direct staff to market the property through a real estate company, this and other properties through a real estate company. And third is you can simply say no to the LOI and just the issue drops. So it's really up to you what you want to do. And we have 3 of these coming. This is the first one, and there's 2 others that are after this one. So you have 3 options to look at, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Katz, would you like to begin?
Yeah, I think the last we left this off, we tried to work out a deal with an adjacent community to the west to purchase the property and potentially turn it into some form of green space, open space / park, and that didn't materialize because of some legal issues with acquiring the property. But I can say personally, I'm still interested in pursuing something of that nature. So at this time, I don't feel any rush or any desire to unload the property while we look at other options with regards to that initial attempt to see what we can do with that land.
And I'd like Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. I'm not in favor either right now of moving forward with this. I'm just saying we don't have that much green space in this city and that we have to hold on to it. I'm just saying there's no urgency. I think that we need to see what else will come up. That's the way I'm leaning.
Excuse me. Well, anyway, Vice Mayor?
I believe the words have been stated, and no need to move forward on this.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Commissioner McCray said and drop the letter of intent. Do we need a motion or? Yeah, can I get a motion? I'll take a motion to not approve
Not accept the offer.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously not to accept the offer. All right. So authorization for city manager to enter into a purchase and sale agreement subject to city attorney's approval of form and format for the following city-owned property, vacant lot, Southwest 24th Avenue.
Okay, just to reiterate, when we receive these offers, we by our policy, we bring them to you. So this is a piece that's non-buildable. It's next to a home, and the owner of that home has offered to purchase the property. It is below the appraised value, so therefore it comes to you for approval. The city does not have any use for this, and we are having to maintain it right now. So again, you have the same options. You can reject the RI, you can accept the direct staff to negotiate and finalize the sale, or whatever else you desire.
My quick question, what is our yearly annual cost for this?
You know, and I knew you were going to ask that.
$1,500.
$1,500 a year, roughly.
There it is right there.
$1,400 a year, and how long have we owned this property?
For a long time.
Okay.
Since we got it during the DOT road widening, it was a leftover piece that went to the city.
So when 95 was built? Okay. Commissioner Katz?
Yeah, I'll wait to hear everyone's opinion with regards to this particular property, but I don't remember if we said it at a previous meeting in reference to this, but I think we need to develop a uniform policy for disposing of land of this nature. I know it has no value to us. It only has value to the adjacent property owner, so it makes sense to try to work deals out with people who live in similar situations throughout the city. I just don't want to get into a situation where every time it comes before us, we have no standards. So, whatever the will of the commission is tonight with regards to this property, but I'd like to tack on to whatever we do to recommend to staff to develop some uniform practice so that we're not just picking and choosing who to sell and how much to sell for. I think if this is something we're going to do, it might trigger other property owners trying to come before us to do the same thing. We just need a standard so we're not just making this stuff up as we go.
So the current standard is a letter of intent, and that's it. And if it's below appraised value, you need a supermajority to approve it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Currently.
So unless there's any change to that, I think that's a fine standard that we've been using, that if the adjacent property owner doesn't want it and that we don't sell a non-buildable lot to someone that can't use it. Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. What the person offered us for this, I'm not in favor of that, and I'm just saying, first of all, it's still green space. We've been taking care of it for all these years, $1,500, a year, and I'm just saying, I think that we need to hold on to it. That person sells that property. I'm just saying that's something that they could, go ahead and get a nice chunk of change off of it, and we'd be lost money. I'm not in favor of it.
Commissioner Katz.
Yeah, and just to what I'm referring to, whatever any potential sale prices for stuff like this, because again, I think it could trigger other property owners to come to us. Whether it's a percent of what the appraised value is, even if it's some very small percent, And, just because these are little pieces of land and maybe small sums of money, I wouldn't be opposed to earmarking the revenue from these types of sales for a specific purpose, whether that was for park activities or some of our recreational activities for our youth. I'm trying to kind of think creatively to cut a very fair deal for the property owners, but also generate some revenue that could be used for some community goods. So that's where I'm thinking with regards to an expansion of the policy.
Yeah, and I agree with Commissioner Katz. I think that's where he was going with what he proposed, and that's exactly what I heard. I would agree with creating some type of clarification on our current policy so that we can actually, not have to do this song and dance every time, especially with an offer amount of $200 for a property that's appraised at $10,000. I think that would be less of a waste of time for us as a board if we at least have a policy that says, we will not entertain any offer, with an offer less than 25% of the appraised value. Something like that, I think, I'm just kind of putting it out there, but something like that perhaps would be less of a song and dance.
So my situation is currently it's a liability to the city. And the way that the city makes money is through property valuation. And so all of this property value that you're selling that we're not making, because the CRA, as we've known, has given property away for a lot less than its appraised value. We are actually going to be getting money every year from now on instead of spending money on this property. And it's up to the property owner to maintain it, not the city to maintain it. So this is a win-win situation for the city. I understand it's not that the value is less than appraised. The situation is that if we don't approve this, then it is an expense to the city, and we're going to pay for it where there's really no use. Before I let the commission speak, would you like the property owner to have any comments? She's up at the podium.
Comments.
Okay, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you, and I'm going to echo what Vice Mayor Romulus said. $200. I'm just saying, to me, whether we're paying $1,500 or not, we've been doing it. We're not going in the hole by doing this here. And to offer us $200, I'm just saying, to me, that is a slap in the city's face. I'm just saying, let's go halfway or something. I'm just saying, if you're going to just accept the $200, might as well give it to us for free. I'm not in favor of this.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to shed some light on this situation because last time I was completely unprepared. The reason that this all came about is because I have lived there for 10 years. Somebody moved in and was kind of a crazy neighbor and has called you guys every single day complaining about that property because it is not maintained. I took pictures today. It is weeds, it is sand. The 95 wall, as long as I've lived there in 10 years, have never been cut. It actually ruined my pool. There is a tree on your guys' property that has never been cut in 10 years that I actually called and gave my property appraisal to, and that is not my tree. It's your guys' tree. It has never been cut, and it is causing damage to my plumbing. So I offered $200 because I was asked by somebody from the city to make an offer. That's why I was unprepared last time. I was asked to make an offer because it is not being maintained. So I said $200 because that was thrown at me. But it is going to cost me a lot of money to fix it. If you drive by it, I took pictures I can show you. It's weeds. It needs the tree cut that's hanging over the power lines. It's a piece of junk. So I am taking on a huge liability. I'm costing myself more in taxes. I have to do an entity of title. It's going to cost me a lot of money. So I feel like I'm kind of doing you guys a favor as well by taking it on. I've lived there for 10 years and I never complained about it, but now I am, making upgrades and people are moving in and the neighborhood's getting upgraded and the whole neighborhood is complaining about it. That is why I came, not because I wanted to up my value of my property or anything. I was just going to take on the liability of taking care of it for you guys because it is not being taken care of at all.
Commissioner Katz.
So in the absence of some policy akin to what I'm referring to for the future, I'd be in favor of supporting the sale at 10% of the assessed value by Palm Beach County property appraiser.
$1,068.
Yeah.
Well, the property appraiser's assessment, so
Yeah.
1,060 maybe.
Yeah. 1,069.
Private appraiser is 16.
But so that, to me, again, is not a formal policy yet, although I do think we need to move in that direction in the future.
Right.
But
That way we're not
for
doing
something
this.
under $25,000 right now, I could see charging 10% if it has no value to the city. So that I'd be in favor of selling it at 10%, which would be, again, approximately $1,000.
Putting into perspective what the resident has stated, I would be amenable to that conclusion as well.
The last time that I was here, you guys asked me to get an appraisal done, and I did, and I sent it, and it was, I guess, not liked by you guys or approved because the appraisal said that they cannot put a number on that property because it's unbuildable and it's not usable to anybody. 95 wall is there. The last appraisal that you guys had was appraised at $100,000 before the 95 wall was there. So since then, I guess you guys got an appraisal.
Got an appraisal
And it was
by-
appraised at $16,000.
So I see two numbers here. There's PBC assessed value and there's appraised. So which one is which? Or which one are we
We had
following?
a formal appraisal done, and the appraisal value came in at $16,800.
That's what the
The
Vance-
property appraisers has an assessed and market value that they assign to it, but an actual appraisal of the land came in higher at $16,800.
How much did it cost for the appraisal?
Andrew?
$750. So we spent $750. So yeah,
We need to appraise
And it cost me $700 to get my own as well.
and so
We need to
the-
do formal appraisals before we bring them to you.
And absolutely, and so that's, the situation is there is an offer on the table for 10% of the appraised value.
So I'll put that in the form of a motion, 10% of the property appraiser's assessed value.
Well, I'm going to ask the property owners if that's something you'd be willing to do, and if not, would you be willing to do a payment plan for that?
So what would the 10% be of would it be off property of the 10,000?
So it'd be 1,068 or 69.
It's your motion. Which one?
The property appraiser.
Okay.
Colin, did you have a bit of input?
I mean, I would have to see what the closing costs and everything would cost me. I'm just.
No, there'd be no closing costs.
It
That
would
was
just be the we're selling you the property for $1,000.
Yeah,
And some change.
that's the amount.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, so we have a motion. All
Excuse me,
those,
for clarification, stop. What is the price that we're selling this property for?
$1,069.
$1,069.
all right, we have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
A.
Motion wins 4-1, supermajority. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, item D, discuss disposition of the following city-owned property.
So this is the old Fire Station 2 that is on Congress right now. We received a letter of interest from a local company that does granite countertops and kitchens, and they made an offer to convert the building into a showroom. And they've made an offer, the appraised value by our appraisal was $413,000. Their offer amount was $300,000. The building does need quite a bit of work, so we know that. Right now, it's currently used for some storage and some other police temporarily until their building is ready. But again, the same options are available. One is to direct staff to negotiate. Two is to direct staff to get a realtor to market. Or third is just to reject the LOI.
My situation is that we currently use this building for our police department. The fact is that if we sold this now, we would have to find new facility for the police department until the new facility is built. I'd like to reject the LOI until we have a place for the police department, and then move forward with a realtor to market the property. Vice Mayor?
Just a point of clarification. So this time, Palm Beach County assessed value is $643, but Vance assessed it at $413.
Yes, remember, it's government property right now, so they put an assessment on it, but there's no taxes being paid on it. So I'm not sure, you have to look at how the county does it. It's probably assessed at a full commercial property.
Okay, and they're offering us 300.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So I don't think, I mean, based on the previous item that we just discussed, we've given away land for way cheaper. I think, I don't think it's something that we cannot necessarily entertain at this point. I think we would perhaps just need to negotiate the time that we perhaps give up the property or give back the property or turn over ownership. I would be willing to entertain this if that caveat were to be added to it.
Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. I'm not in favor of moving on this, but I do need to ask Chief, if we sell this when the new new police station, is there going to be room in there to put whatever's in there?
As far as the staff is concerned, we believe we can relocate the staff into this facility that currently operates out of that location. The storage, we've got some opportunities to consolidate storage as well. So once the new facility is built with the exterior garage component, that we can put the items that are currently stored there into that garage building, we should be able to consolidate it. We won't need that or the lease space anymore.
Okay, let me go back. Like Mama said, just because it's new, there's no need to take junk in if you don't have to take it in there. This is what I'm trying to say. If you don't need it, why drag it over in there?
We won't be bringing any junk that we don't need.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. It's a new building, and don't.
I don't want to give an itemized list of what it contains.
I don't need it.
But the things that are in it, we need to keep, and we'll be bringing it with us.
But I'm not in favor of moving on it now anyway. Okay.
Vice Mayor.
So just to clarify, time is not a factor. You can move out if needed?
It is a factor. We do have staff that operate out of that facility right now, so we can either relocate that staff to some other leased property in the city, or we can delay the transfer.
But you do need the facility at this point in time?
We need to have a place to have those staff members work.
Thank you for coming out and saying that, because I wasn't hearing that in what you were saying. Okay.
So we need a
motion to reject the LOI at this time because of time and space concerns.
Second.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to new business, proposed resolution number R19-015, approve and ratify the collective bargaining agreement for the Boynton Beach firefighters and paramedics, IAFF Local 1891, and the city. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the board?
I have comments, and this is to you. I'm just that I know that this was one of those contracts that we went out for. I recognize that we did not get all that we was trying to get. They did not get all that they was trying to get, but I want to make sure that you feel that we met them like somewhere like where they were satisfied and we were satisfied.
Yes, Commissioner McCray. Julie Oldbury, Director of Human Resources and Risk Management. As with all negotiations, I guess they say when both parties leave unhappy, it's been successful. But in this case, I think that both sides did, we came to an equitable agreement for both sides. And could I just indulge you guys for 1 minute? I just want to recognize the fire union president, Sean Weeks. This was his first go at taking over this role and negotiating this brand new contract. And, it's a difficult process for all of us, but, he put in countless hours, as many hours as we put in on the city side. He put in just as many on that end. And I just want to say, it's that dedication to the labor management process that really does, at the end of the day, make this a partnership. And I just wanted to thank him for his commitment and participation to this process. He did a fine job representing his members, and he is a fine representative for the city.
Is he here?
Yes.
Please stand by the stage.
All right. Yes, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I'm going to take a second to hop on a soapbox here. I want to, commend city staff for their work, but I also want to commend our fire union along with our firefighters. I know that for a very long time, we've had negotiations are tough, and talking about pension reform and all these different things. It's been a long conversation that could have easily just turned very nasty and ugly. But you know what? I feel like we have firefighters who not only sacrifice their lives each and every day to protect us, but at the same time, they're fighting to protect their families, their income. They're fighting for that. And we need to also be cognizant of that as well. And I feel like, you know, as we are sitting here and we're negotiating, we're doing the work that takes, you know, sometimes some of the ugly emotions within bargaining and contracting and all that. I feel like, you know, we also need to be cognizant that these are the men and women who sacrifice their lives each and every day for us, and we need to make sure that we are taking care of them as well at the end of the day. And I feel like we accomplished that in this go-round, and we're going to continue working with them to make sure that we are properly compensating them for the work that they do. They are some of the best, as we have seen with what we saw earlier today, in the entire state. So that being said, you know, we stand behind our firefighters. We believe in them, and we know that they're doing hard work out there for us. We want to make sure that they're well taken care of within the city of Boynton Beach, because they do everything in their power to take care of us. So thank you.
Beautifully said, Vice Mayor.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Now I'm very excited. Discuss the new mobility options for potential implementation in the cities, including electric vehicle infrastructure, car sharing, e-scooter sharing, etc.
So, Colin Groff, Assistant City Manager, and I apologize for being here. Rebecca Harvey was going to present this. Unfortunately, she's very ill, and she's at home. So you get me. I'm going to try to go through this fairly quickly. What we're trying to do is just gauge and get feedback from the board on directions we should move on these alternative transportation methodologies that have come to us in the city. These would become part of our mobility plan as we move forward with a mobility fee if we choose to do that. So this is really for you to give staff guidance on where to go with some of these ideas. So just real quick, what are the mobility trends? There's shared mobility, these are things that you don't own, that you simply pick up and go where you want to go, and then you drop it off. And there's things like bikes and scooter sharing, car sharing. And that sounds interesting, but we'll go a little bit. Ride sharing, that's the Uber type thing where you can share rides. And then public transit. So we don't want to leave out the public transit or the micro transit, which is a little bit different than public. So these are some of the shared mobility concepts that are out there to help lessen the traffic on our roads. Smart mobility means is you're using basically an app on your phone, so it's very easy to get transportation to and from where you're going to go. So it's pretty seamless, unlike the old days of going out on the side of the road and waving your hand for a taxi. You just simply use your phone and you know where to go to pick up that. And then when you're picking it up and using it on your own, you do it from your app and they know who you are and they bill you right there. So it's a seamless technology. And all of these alternative transportation methodologies is really leaning toward electric mobility, meaning that the energy is coming off the grid instead of coming from fossil fuels, although the grid is powered by fossil fuels, but it's much more efficient to create electricity off the grid than it is to create from a combustion engine. So it's a more efficient method of transportation. So future, you know, why this is where everybody's going, of course, is reduce carbon emissions, reduce reliance on fossil fuels. You know, sustainable to car ownership. You know, we have a lot of people who may not even be able to afford a car. So this is a sustainable alternative to affording a car. Of course, decrease congestion, which we all want, and then fewer parked cars. So we started with this, we're starting in summer of 19. You guys have approved a bike sharing program that's in the city. So Skybike is coming to the city, and they're also they're going to be providing what they call electric e-bikes, which are assisted pedaling bikes. So they have an electric component that assists your pedaling, so it reduces your travel time, expands your trips. And they're docked bikes, meaning you have to go from a dock to a dock and leave the bike, but it's again seamless through your phone app. So that's coming to Boynton Beach this summer. We have some locations that we'll be bringing back to you at some point when they're ready for approval, but we're working on that right now. So the more options are, we've had several companies approach us on electric scooter sharing, and there's a couple different types. You can see the kind you stand on, We've tested those. They're actually a lot of fun. And the other ones are ones you sit on just like you see the electric scooters. They're generally dockless, meaning you just pick them up from where they are and you drop them off wherever you end. Most of these companies come with people who will then pick up those and bring them back to what they call a nest, meaning there's a set place you pick it up, and so there's people in the economy called gig economy. Never heard that term till these guys came along, but it's people who get paid to pick up a bike, charge it, and then drop it back off at a nest. Max speeds 15 to 18 for the kick scooters and about 30 miles an hour for mopeds. And we have options to regulate those. We have to decide where do those go? If we decide we want to allow these companies into the city to offer these services, where do they go? How do they go? Where do they operate? And those things. And these are some of the companies that offer these services you see at the bottom. And again, they're all on an app, phone app. So there's more options. Ride-sharing express pool. This is something fairly new that's coming out. Uber is doing it first. I think there's some other companies following them. And that's a point of contact share. In other words, instead of right now when you call an Uber, you simply put on the phone, they come and get you where you are. This is where you go. You maybe walk a block, and there's 2 or 3 people that meet you there, and they all get picked up and pulled to the next location. It's a great alternative for the old trolley or the old transit from point A to point B, where you might be able to have a point at the mall and a point at the beach, and you walk there and you get on, and it's a private transportation company, but it's very convenient to use. So that's what ride-sharing, the express pool, and that's something new that's coming out, and it's very successful in several cities. And then some more options are we want to provide the electric vehicle charging stations. So that's another alternative transportation if we can provide electric vehicles a place to charge. A couple different ways to do it. The city has up till now on city property offered what we call level 2 or slow chargers. And we've done it basically if you can get a spot, you can plug in and you get charged for free. But the new level 3 chargers are a 20-minute to 1-hour charge. There's a lot of different ways those work. They're fee-based. They could be free. They could be self-funded. We could fund it ourselves as a city to buy all this equipment and put it out there. Or we could do a third party, where a third party comes in through some kind of RFP process, and we offer them locations on city property. And they charge a fee. Again, it's an app. You just say, I am plugging in. It gets charged, and you fast charge your electric car. So anyways, there's a lot of options there. There's a bunch of companies out there. There's a couple companies that have come to us and expressed interest in providing those services in the city for a fee. Our town square is something we're looking at town square, these fast chargers, and actually bringing in a third party to do it, because the city, that's not part of our business plan, is to do electric vehicle charging. So if we had a third party to do it, I think it would provide a great service and wouldn't impact our staffing levels. Electric car sharing is coming up. It's fairly new. It's in several large cities now. And basically, there's a car at a nest, and it's sitting there. And if you have the app, you go, instead of having to go to a rental car agency, you simply go to one of these sites. You plug in your app. It lets you in the car. You get in and you drive where you're going to go, and you drop the car and you leave the car. And then somebody else can either pick it up from there and drive it, or somebody will pick it up and take it back to the nest. It also integrates in ride sharing. There's a lot of different hybrid mechanisms that they use this car share. But again, that's up and coming. Several companies are in that business. They're being very successful in some of the large cities. And it really does it puts people in a regular vehicle, which a lot of people want to be in, is a regular vehicle, but they don't have to own it. It's sort of like a rental car program on the cheap, because you do it from your phone and you only rent it for an hour or 30 minutes. But you get to control it yourself and go where you want to go. So what are some of the city actions that we're taking right now to start leaning toward these is we are working on some LDRs that we'll be bringing to you. So new development, redevelopment projects have to incorporate these kind of things into their project. EV charging stations, bike share docking locations, and all of these other things. As the city looks into these, we would require these in development so we make sure we have enough of them around the city to work. We want to develop an ordinance if directed by the board, is to develop an ordinance to regulate the EV infrastructure and the dockless bike and scooter sharing, because that's an issue that a lot of cities are having when they're dockless. Where do you leave them? Where do you ride them? What are the safety recommendations? So those are all things we'd have to look at if you choose to go forward in that direction. And then the last one is we want to, with your approval, we'd like to start looking at soliciting vendors to maintain an EV infrastructure on city property. So the city's not doing it, so we have to actually have a third party doing it. So we have plenty available for people who drive electric cars. So with that, I'll take any questions or direction. And really, again, tonight, we're looking for, do you like all these ideas or some you don't like? Where do you want staff to kind of focus their efforts on to coming up with some of these alternative mobility?
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Colin, you said that this should be in place by the summer. What's supposed to be in place by the summer? What are you trying to do?
The electric bikes. So you approved the electric bikes last year, and
Right.
the company is going to be having the docking stations in place by this summer.
Tell me, have you all located the docking stations?
We have they've given us, 10 sites. We're going through them. We'll bring those back to you because you directed us to bring them back to you. So we'll be bringing those back to you once we have it kind of narrowed down to here's the ones we recommend.
Yes, Commissioner Katz.
Yeah, I'm in support of moving forward on almost everything with the exception of the scooters. I had the fun of passing through Dallas over Christmas time this year, and all I could draw from the scooters was that if you're a tourist, it seems like an awesome opportunity to aimlessly meander throughout a city, but I think that as a practical mode of transportation for residents in a city not as dense as a major city, they tend to just be a nuisance to residents. So I'm not opposed to anything except the scooters because I've read a lot of articles about how the scooters are terrible in cities and residents hate them. I haven't seen many positive scooter stories out there. Maybe the media is biased against scooters too, but
right.
They've sold me on the idea.
There's been a couple of success stories, but generally they only are successful where you have a very dense network of bike lanes already existing, and we do not have that in the city. So they do work when you have that, but we don't have that.
Okay. Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Who assumes the liability for these?
The third-party companies renting them and the person renting them would take the liability. This would all be through a third party.
Vice Mayor?
I threw my hands up because there seems to be some telepathy happening between myself and Commissioner Katz, because that's exactly what I was going to say. No scooters. Everything else, no scooters.
We're not disagreeing with that.
Stay away from scooters.
I mean, I personally would love to try scooters. I think.
Go to another city.
But, I could always buy my own. The situation is that currently scooters are not allowed on the sidewalk. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And is that sort of any municipal infraction, or what is our recourse if someone drives a scooter on the sidewalk?
I knew you were going to ask that question, and I'm not the right person to ask us. Rebecca would know that answer. I can find out and send it to you. I believe that they are not allowed. They're motorized vehicles, so they're not allowed on the sidewalk.
If a bike can't be on the sidewalk.
So they're like a bike. Now you can, my understanding is in several cities in South Florida have actually passed ordinance to force them onto the sidewalk and say that's the only place. Those are the scooter type the kick scooters that you stand on, to force those onto the sidewalk. I'm not sure we would recommend that as staff, but
Mayor?
Yes.
Also, just as a matter of information, with the legislative agenda up in Tallahassee, there is legislation that's been introduced to preempt us and not allow us to regulate at the local level restrictions on electric scooters, anything more than what we regulate for bicycles.
So
that's something we'll watch.
So what if we create legislation before that could we be grandfathered in?
Doubtful. Usually it preempts you altogether.
Not the way the draft language has been proposed.
So I guess my situation based upon the commission is that could we try though? And the sense is that if this commission doesn't want to have electric scooters, could we create that ordinance and then see if we get exempted or preempted from that being a valid law? Because I know with the short-term rentals, they allowed the preemption of like Key West and other cities that had them on the books beforehand.
It doesn't take much to draft it or for you to approve it.
Okay, so is that something the commission would want to do so that if we have something on the books before we may be preempted?
Speaking about a prohibition of the scooters?
Yes. The prohibition of the sharing of scooters. The companies coming in. We're not outlawing personal ownership of scooters, but if they're the business of scooter sharing I think I have a consensus between Commissioner Katz, Vice Mayor, are you in consensus?
I'm not sure what you're requesting.
So basically, if we don't create an ordinance to preempt scooters, we may not be able, or to prohibit scooters, we may not be able to prohibit scooters in the city.
Yeah, by all means, let's prohibit them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cray, I'm going to get to you after I'm done talking, okay? The other thing is that I'm very excited about the Uber pool. I was able to take an Uber pool from downtown Los Angeles to Venice Beach. It took an extra 10 minutes to save half the fare. So, I'd love for our city to start working with Uber and Lyft regarding places that we can use for people to come into our beach and see if we can't get an extra $1 or so for everybody that comes to the beach without parking there. As for the electric vehicle charging stations and vehicle sharing, I'd like to see us move forward with an ordinance or an RFQ so that we have one within the city rather than try to have each development having its own vehicle sharing, so that way the plazas and the communities are using the same company, so that if they have different charging, we're not stuck like Tesla has its own special charging where you can't, if you're an electric vehicle, you can't go to a Tesla, but if you're a Tesla, you can go to other electric vehicles charging stations. And so is the commission okay with trying to get an RFQ for the electric vehicle sharing within the
uniformity.
Yeah, for that uniformity within the city.
Right. The only thing I would say in that RFQ language, I would want where it allows us to merge with surrounding cities like West Palm or whatever. That way we can have interconnectivity within Palm Beach County and not just we have a Boynton Beach solo brand that then cannot be duplicated anywhere else. That way we also expand our visitation and tourists and all that stuff.
And absolutely, we'll come back with any other city or county that has something currently in place and maybe piggyback off of an RFQ that has already been issued.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Commissioner McCray, I'm done.
Thank you. In regards to scooters, if there is an age limit for the rental of these things, I'm just saying, come on.
There is. Most of these companies do, on all of these options, they do age limits on them. And because you have to sign up as a customer, so you actually get approved by the company before you can go use them. So you sign up as a customer, you put in your credit card, all your information. So yes, there is age limits. They do vary based on the ordinances within the cities, but yes, there are.
All right, I'm trying to think ahead before the can of worms, the worms get out the can. Okay, what about these kids that get these things for Christmas and they be all up and down the road? I'm looking at reality.
Right. That's not part of this transportation because that's private people using it. There are regulations on those types of activities that can be enforced in the right of way. You have to ride with traffic. There's, what I don't know is I believe they're regulated the same as bicycles, which means there's helmet rules and things like that. But that's one we'll have to get back with you on because Rebecca would have known that. I don't know for sure how they're regulated.
Right. I'm looking at the safety aspect. I'm just saying because every time when Christmas come, we put these things out there and they're going to say, well, y'all got them out there riding, and I don't want somebody to say, well, you all are doing it. That's a little bit more than us just jumping out here saying, let's do this. I'm just saying when the scooters start coming, we're going to have another can of worms. They're going to say, well, y'all let us do them anyway. Y'all passed it. So I'm looking ahead. I want the police to be protected whenever they say that you can't do it. It's got to be, I'm looking at the safety issue for the younger citizens, like their age,
Well, thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah, seriously, yeah, but the kids, Right.
Now I'm a kid.
Okay.
Well, be grateful.
Yes, Commissioner Kelly.
Colin, can I ask you a question? So the bike sharing, West Palm uses Skybike. I wasn't here in the summer sitting in this chair. So is it Skybike that's coming in and is it there? Because I know that they have a cycling professional that maintains their bikes, does all the service for it, makes sure the bikes get returned, checks on it every day. Is it the same service that we're getting here?
Yes, it is actually the same company, and we do have an ordinance that's what we passed, was an ordinance that requires a set number of activities that they have to perform and guarantee with some insurance and some other requirements before they even get permission to operate in the city. And Skybike is the one in West Palm, and that's the one that's come into the city of Boynton also.
Okay.
And the only difference is it's not bicycles, it's electric assist bicycles, so it's a little bit easier to ride.
Gotcha. Thank you.
It's lazy people's bikes.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Okay, is there any other comments for consensus? Colin, do you have all the information that you need?
Absolutely.
Okay, and when do you think we'll come back?
The LDRs that we're working on right now, you'll probably see those fairly quickly. Those are almost done, and that's to encourage some of these things in development. So you'll see that first. Some of these others we're going to continue working on as companies come to us to develop. We do think the other thing we will work on is EV chargers, because we do need that in Town Square, and so we need to make some decisions. So we'll probably be working on that too fairly quickly. So I think you'll see the LDRs in the next, I'm going to say, 4 meetings. And the charging stations is probably 3 months or so out.
And I guess, Jim, if we can try to get something before session is over?
ASAP.
All right, thank you. All right, Vice Mayor Romulus, will you have $250 of your community support funds to the Girl Scouts of Southeast Florida?
Yes. Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, and do we have someone here from the Girl Scouts?
You have one of the troop leaders and one of the actual members. She's tired. It's way past her bedtime right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Joanne Celestin. I am a Boynton Beach resident. I am a Keller Williams Boynton Beach realtor, and I am also the troop leader of 24205. I've been a troop leader for 3 years. And as you may know, if you don't know, that Girl Scouts is a volunteer-run program, so we volunteer our time. And how we get our funds is either we sell fall products or cookies. It is cookie season. Or we do have our parents pay dues every time they come to a meeting. So your donation will be truly appreciated. My daughter had a few words that she'd like to share. She put it on her phone. Go ahead.
True politician.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jana Pierre of Troop 24205 for 3 years. What I like most about Girl Scouts is learning leadership skills, business ownership, and meeting new people. I also have cookies for sale right now, and the cookies I have are s'mores, which are $5, Samoas and Thin Mints, which are both $4.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
So my 250, I hope, really goes to contributing to a lot of cookies.
Yes.
And if anybody would love to match me on that, I'd be more than happy to take that. But other than that, anyone else in the audience, please support this troop and their work. And they're really, really making excellent leaders out of our young girls. So I appreciate the work you're doing. Please keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on. You're welcome. Moving on to proposed ordinance number 19-006.
No. Ordinance about the 18-wheelers.
Thank you. So yes, Commissioner McCray.
Yeah, thank you. I set up here having to go to the bathroom. I'm holding it to discuss this.
Okay.
TMI, I know. But anyway, the reason that we need something in place is that it's a growing trend now, and that is that in District 2 and all over the city of Boynton, even in Vice Mayor Romulus' district, we've been inundated with 18-wheelers. And what it is, because they cannot park at Sam's, they cannot park at Walmart, they cannot park at BJ's, and they're coming in here parking on the streets. Citizens are calling me and telling me that, we can't get by, why are these things parked here now? What are you all doing? Then now they got smart now, so they dropped the trailers, and now they're bringing the cabs in. We still have a problem. We need something in place saying that, we cannot allow these, because in District 2 on the north, south, northeast, and northwest section, those streets are real narrow, for one thing, and you get like emergency vehicles running down there. We're going to have some problems, and I'm just saying we need to head this problem off before it gets too far gone. Right now, it is too far gone, because they're parking on city property, they're parking in right-of-ways, and people are saying, our city is running down with these 18-wheelers. I'm getting a lot of calls, and I'm just saying we probably need to look at an ordinance or something like this so that we could tell them, please, not in here. We want you to work, but don't leave your rigs overnight and stuff like that. I'm just 2-hour parking, that's fine and unload, but as far as staying 4 and 5 days, 2 weeks, it's unacceptable for me.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard of this, but I don't know what our current rules are, is that regarding, the 18-wheelers or heavy-duty trucks on residential streets overnight.
Yeah, we want to do some research and bring some information back to you that would hopefully help with this.
Okay, and does our current tow truck system allow for, being able to tow these types of trucks? Okay. And so we'll see if we're able to tow them, and if so, start working on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now moving on to legal. Proposed ordinance number 19-006, second reading.
An ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending the Land Development and Regulations, Chapter 4, Article 5, Minimum Off-Street Parking Requirements, Section 2, Standards, providing for conflict severability, codification, and an effective date.
May I have a motion to approve?
Second.
The only discussion that I want is the mention on public comments regarding pervious parking or permeable parking. This would not allow that, correct?
That conversation, actually, what the person was bringing up would be allowed with some special consideration. We're going to work with her directly on her permits. So this has nothing to do with that.
Okay. But that's going to be in the works to be allowed?
Yes, it's actually allowed now if it meets certain requirements.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, this is second reading. Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Ramos?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Grant?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Craig?
Aye.
Ordinance 19-007, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending the Land Development and Regulations, Chapter 3, Zoning, Article 5, Supplemental Regulations, Section 3E, Sheds and Storage Containers, providing for conflict severability, codification, and an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, any discussion from public audience? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Grant?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz? Commissioner Craig?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos?
Aye.
19-008, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 26, Water, Sewer, and City Utilities, Article 8, Reclaimed Water of the Code of Ordinances by creating a new Section 26508D, providing for authority to sign agreements, providing for conflict severability, codification, and an effective date.
May I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, any discussion from the public audience? Seeing none, all those in favor, may I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Grant?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz? Commissioner Craig?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ramos?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Ordinance 19-009, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach amending Chapter 18, Article 4, Pensions for Firefighters, amending Section 18180 to provide a maximum benefit cap of $95,000, amending Section 18180.1 to provide for a revised early retirement date for newly hired firefighters, amending Section 18185 to provide for a revised normal retirement date for newly hired firefighters, providing for conflict severability, codification, and an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion from the board? Seeing none, any discussion from the audience? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Craig?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ramos?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
And Mayor Grant?
Yes.
Votes 5-0.
Item E is still tabled. Approve negotiated settlement in the amount of $50,000 in the case of Leaf Broberg versus City of Boynton Beach.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none. Any discussion from audience? Seeing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. One of the things I forgot to mention on information, Happy Chinese New Year. So, yes, that is today. We're in the year of the pig, year of the boar.
Right. I have one comment before you all leave. When I came in tonight, I parked in the mayor's spot, so that's my car. His is next to mine, so don't mess with mine. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Any further from the board? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right. Meeting adjourned.